Okay, so we're talking about that. Now, in some cases, personal property can be attached in such a manner that it looks like it's real. It's called a fixture. You guys ever heard of a light fixture? Where do you think it got its name? From right here. So there are things that are personal property, but they're attached or used in such a manner that they actually become real property. Most notably, the ones you guys will deal with the most, ceiling fans, curtain rods, mini blinds, all right? Those are attached in such a manner that they actually become real property with the house. All right, so those are what they call a fixture that is used and in such a manner it becomes real. So let me ask you a question. Microwave. Is a microwave a personal item or a real property item? What's my favorite answer? It depends. Is the microwave sitting on your kitchen cabinet? Or is it mounted above your stove with bolts and lights for your stove? So one of your tests to see if it's a fixture is how is it attached to the property? How is it attached to the property? No, both microwaves, how it's attached. Like I said, the microwave that sits on your cabinet, you unplug it and walk out with it. That's a personal item. Same microwave that's mounted above your stove now is a real property. But the functionality is still the same.
No, because if you take the microwave out, it's not functional anymore.
Sure it is, just not right there. You're looking at it wrong. Trust me. How is it attached? The stove will still work. The microwave will still work, just not right there. How is it attached is the test. All right? What about a refrigerator? You should know the answer by now. It depends. Is it the refrigerator sitting in your garage that holds all your beer that you can just roll right into the back of the U-Haul? That's personal. You guys ever seen those Sub-Zero systems where it looks like the counter or the cabinets? So it's part of a system. So the second test is, how is it used? Is it used as a system where it would definitely be noticed?
Not the functionality of the item, but the functionality of the house. Like an HVAC system or...
No, don't fight me on this. I've been doing this 10 years. Trust me. No. How is it attached? And is it in a system that you would miss? Those are two things. HVAC is never considered personal property.
I know. That's what my point was. We're talking about the same thing.
No, we're not. But however you want to put it in your head, that's fine. As long as you get the answers right. How is it used in a system? That's the second one. The last one is for example, would be a ceiling fan. All right, a ceiling fan would be one that I told you about. The third method is probably the best method of all, is what do the parties agree upon? Because if both parties agree, then it doesn't really matter what it is. A ceiling fan is defined as a fixture. It's attached in such a manner that it becomes part of the real property. But if you decide I want to take that with me, and the buyer comes in and says, that's the ugliest ceiling fan I've ever seen in my life, I want it gone, then it doesn't matter that it's attached in such a manner, because both parties agree it's personal and they're going to take it. All right? So that's the third way that you can determine if it's a fixture. What do the parties agree upon? There's a couple others they deal with. Relationship to the parties. You know, like I said, award-winning rosebush, that was mine. Intention. We intended it to be personal even though we had to affix it. Like maybe a hot tub. We had to attach it in such a manner that it had to pour cement pad, but it's never intended to be. It was always going to be ours. So the intention of that was to be personal even when we attached it. The easiest way to deal with is just what do you agree on. All right? And like I said, in some cases, you can benefit if your seller says, hey, I want a ceiling fan to go with me. Okay, then before we start showing the property, here's what we should do. We should take that ceiling fan down, box it up, go to Kmart, buy a $7 light fixture, and put it up. That way when the buyer comes in, they go, hey, this would be a great place for a ceiling fan. Yeah, it sure would be, wouldn't it? So in most cases, if you think there's going to be a contention, you can remove it before you even begin. Some cases you can't. Now, there are some fixtures that are used in the commercial world in the course of business that are called trade fixtures. All right? Is there anybody have any idea of what a trade fixture, an example for a trade fixture might be? Yeah. Porcelain sink? No. How about a white dry erase board? For those of you at home, I'm tapping the dry erase board. That's a trade fixture. It's used during the course of my business. It is my personal property, but it is attached to someone else's real property. That's the big difference. A light fixture, my house, my lamp. Trade fixture, someone else's, finger quotes, house, my property. All right? I have attached it in such a manner, but my intention has always been for it to be personal, even though I had to attach it to the wall so we could use the dry erase board. All right? So it's still personal to me, but it's a trade fixture being used in the course of my trade. When I leave, I need to take this property with me and restore the original condition of the building. All right? You guys can't tell it, but there are two windows behind these dry erase boards. I've covered over them. Originally, that was outside. Now it's a lobby. When I first moved in here, that was an open courtyard. Now they enclosed it and made a lobby, but there's still two windows back there. So I need to remove that prior to the termination of my lease and restore his property in the personal condition the original condition was in. If I fail to remove my trade fixture, my personal property converts to the landlord's real property. What's it called when personal goes to real? Annexation, right? If it also changes ownership, tenant to landlord, it's called constructive annexation. Constructive annexation. It's not only changing types of property, it's changing ownerships. They also use the word accession. Accession to mean constructive annexation. Yes, ma'am? Is there a limited period of time? Yes, by the time my lease terminates. Not the day after, not 10 days after. I got to get it out. before the termination of my lease. So trade fixtures are typically used in the act of a trade. Now there's the economic. There's also some physical characteristics, and in your book, do they even talk about the physical characteristics? What page is that? Yeah. No. 18? Oh. Yeah, they dropped way back. I can tell now I don't like this version. Maybe I'm just hard to get along with. But not me. I'm such a friggin' people person. I can't understand that. Yeah. I went to the doctor the other day and said, "Hey, doc, I'm having trouble keeping friends, you idiot." We touched on the physical characteristics. Immobility, can be moved. Uniqueness and indestructibility are your physical characteristics of the real estate world.